Okay, so here we are. I sell drawings and well, drawings with watercolor paint, primarily on Etsy. I do sell other things, but this is my most popular. So I'm working on 2 orders that have to ship tomorrow. This one is a soul shine, and I'm just going to finish filling in the line work. I've already put in some watercolor. And then this is one of my really popular designs. It's a quote from Rumi: "The wound is the place where the light enters you." So what I do is, once I create the design, it usually just comes from somewhere in my head, and I sell it. Then I know that people are going to buy it, and I photocopy it. And then whenever I get an order, I just use carbon to put it onto my handmade paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. And once I've carboned it on, then I go fill in with ink pen. And it's basically like a Sharpie. This particular brand is not Sharpie, and I buy these on Amazon for $20 for a box of 72. So definitely very affordable, and they look really good on this paper. Now this one does have some watercolor that needs to be added to it, so I'm going to do that first and let it dry. And I just have my basic watercolor pan over here, no frills, no big deal. I'm going to add my yellow in the spots that I know it belongs. So basically with Etsy, once you sell something and you leave the listing up, people want to get the exact same thing that they ordered, obviously. I mean, that's what I would want. And so I use the carbon paper to make sure that the design is exactly as they expected, and then everybody is happy. This one has a yellow spot here. And obviously this is just basic watercolor 101. I'm just filling in the areas with the yellow. I have been known to use paint markers for this, depending on, you know, where I'm working at and what I'm working on, but this is very straightforward. And it doesn't even have to be exact, because I'm going to go in and do work with the pen. So the sun here is a nice yellow as well. And because this is watercolor, it will dry really quickly. This particular pack of paper, they're all different, and this one is a lot thicker and absorbent, much more absorbent than some of the packs that are drier. But that's okay, because it'll still dry quickly. So this is just the color and putting in the background, and then I'll go in and do the line work. So what I'm thinking is that I was watching a webinar. Ali Abdal, he's an excellent YouTuber, very intelligent young man who does a lot of YouTube videos, and he had a webinar about if you wanted to create a YouTube channel. And I was watching him talk about the reasons why people do create YouTube channels and what they expect to gain from it. And when he said, let me interrupt my story here, I'm going to fix this little bit of color that's smeared, and that'll take just a second. It's just watercolor. When he was talking about the reasons that people do it, and he said that, you know, if you have something you want to share, if you have something you feel like you can teach and you can enjoy yourself while you do it, that's when you should start a YouTube channel. And that just really kind of got me going, because that's exactly what I want to do. A lot of times when I'm creating things, people say, oh my God, I could never do that. Oh my God, how do you do that? I could never do that. And the thing is, if you say you can never do it, you'll never do it. So my goal is to get my channel going here and show people that they can do it. Here I am. I just wanted to add a little bit of reddish color right here, because that's what's in the listing that's on Etsy. And again, like I said, so I put the design on here. I have just gotten used to drawing with my pens. This will be dry in a half a second. So I've just gotten used to drawing with my pens and going in, and you know, if you look back at where I started with my first drawings, I'm definitely improving every day, which is another thing about any form of art. You know, the more you practice, the better you get. So this soul shine, I don't know how, not used to filming, so I'm going to just try to fill in and stop and let you see what I'm doing, but I'm just going over the lines that I created with the carbon, and it's really quick and easy for me because this is, you know, my handwriting. When I decided I was going to do Etsy drawings, I looked up different alphabets, different styles of alphabets, and I picked one that I wanted to use pretty consistently, and it's now my handwriting. Like, my style of my actual handwriting has changed because I followed that alphabet. I made a chart, and okay, so I had delayed starting this because I've had a cold for a couple of weeks, and I just have to be mindful of my ability to talk my way through this. But again, I'm just showing how easy it is to create my designs. And in the future, I intend to have projects where it is possible to follow along. I'm currently working on a certification in art therapy. I consider it a mini certification because I know that an actual art therapy certification requires a master's in social work and years of study. But I also think there's something to be said for using art as a creative outlet. And so I'm working through a certification in art therapy so that my projects will be really, really useful, really helpful. Of course, this is not an art therapy project. This is an actual sale on Etsy. And I need to work on my video presentation so you can see what I'm doing, although I don't know how fascinating it is to watch me draw. I think the thing to point out here is that the watercolor is very, I use the word whimsical. It's just kind of tapped on there, and I draw around it. It doesn't have to be a perfect shape. And I know that I passed, I'm not sure how many sales I have on Etsy, but I know I passed 3,500, and my reviews are very, very good. So this is definitely an appreciated form of art, and not difficult to do. I already put in the lyrics up here, because I can't possibly try to film and get the lyrics right. I'll make a mistake, and if one word is incorrect, then the whole drawing has to be started over. Nobody wants a music lyric drawing with the incorrect lyrics on it. I think at this point I will stop for a second, stop the video for a second, and come back to show you when it's all completed. Okay, so Soul Shine is finished. It goes into a black mat with a backing board, and it gets put in a protective sleeve and it gets shipped. So that's that one. And then this one is now dry, so this is the Roomy quote. And basically with this one, I'm so used to doing it, I just do some line work up in here. And otherwise I just follow the lines that I've made with the carbon. Anytime anytime I see a spot where I just need to cover up a carbon mark, I just cover it up. So here's where I'm talking about the kind of line work that I do. Just choose some areas to darken in. So essentially, I don't know if you can see the comparison, but it just looks like a design, really, just what it is. Again, I think I'll stop the video and come back when I've got the design filled in. Okay, so I basically finished filling in this one. This one also goes in black matte with a backing board and gets cellophane sleeve before it ships. I just went in and made all of my letters bolder with the pen because that's part of the design. I sign everything, but for these, I sell a lot of these, so I'm just going to put my little signature down here, and you won't see it when the mat's on, and that's okay. Unless somebody asks me to specifically keep it where they can see it. And then there is a grass line over here, so that's just scrumble grass, I call it. Just kind of, giving the idea that there's grass over there. I just want to go back down this line because it just doesn't look dark enough to me. Alright, so there we go. This is essentially done and ready to ship. The wound is the place where the light enters you. So I think those are the two that I'm going to put in this video today. I think when I go back to edit, I'm going to end up with like 15 minutes of actual video, but I think that's okay for our first run. And I think we did Soul Shine, and we did Roomy, so I think that's good.